What the ITV does is it gives him protection. He's totally enclosed, so he's going to be impervious to most small arms and everything but a direct hit with artillery.
Quick work putting her back together. Time to put the road wheel rubber back on the road wheel. All right, work continues. I have actually misplaced this door, so we'll get to that eventually. Done some paint on the hatches, and I did a little modification here. Let's see if you see my logic. This is the troop hatch. The Apple system is, I tacked it on there with a couple drops of super glue, and it's at an angle so that it's flush. So the idea would be put this guy on before a battle, turn her on and fight. And when I'm done, now I'll have to work on that with a magnet perhaps. And then when we're done, close it up. Well, it's pretty cool. Time for one of the last details on the M113/M901 that is specific to this ITV variant. On the back of the troop door on the rear loading hatch, there was a viewport. I'm told this was so that they could quickly look out the back of the vehicle and make sure nobody was behind them when they fired the missiles, the backblast sort of detector. So in this case, I'm gonna put it right here, find a piece of clear plastic, and then I'm gonna build a frame around it and tint it a little green if I can pull that off. So let's figure that out. Well, another mystery here. I've been messing around with the handle on the back of this door since the day I got this kit. Look on the troop door. The handle is actually to the side. It goes over the plate. On the model, they put the hole in the plate. So this would actually be right, that should be located here. Oh, look at that. Small details. This is the point where my long time of modeling comes in handy. This is my old faithful collection of rod, strip, and angle plastruct or evergreen, you name it. So I go through here and I comb until I find something that works. That might have potential. Over time I throw things in here that don't seem to fit anywhere else. I got angles, I got strip. Aha. That'll work. That should work nicely. Well, I got a fun story from the mail call to tell you. This is the Cyber Vintage phone slash holder slash stand that I've been using to do my hands-free filming and whatnot. And, you know, I made that clip in my film last week and I just shared it with them. And they were very appreciative. So, believe it or not, more mail call from the Internet Fairy. Let's see what this is. Wow, they sent me a Super Grip wireless mag charge. Cool. I think my ignorance about some of their parts helped. When we were describing what this product was in the first place, I said I didn't know what that was. Well, it turns out if you already have a charger, a mag-safe charger that'll fit in here, it'll hold it, and that'll be what charges your stuff while it works. Now this one apparently is a little more interesting. Comes with wires. Interesting. Ho 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 ho. Wow, sounds a little beefier. Nice. This one I guess you install with the wire and you can charge while you do all this. This is a honking piece of equipment. It does work. Look, it lights up when it's charging. Wow, now I'm learning some stuff. This is meant to be a car mount version. So it has a little clamping system here that goes through your air blades or something else that it can clamp onto. And if you rotate it inside, it ratchets in and out. And this becomes your car mount. It's got a fan to regulate the heat, which is really good, especially in Arizona. That goes in, that goes out. That takes the place of this. And you put your phone on there. Have to charge it now. As I said, my cable goes this way because my power's over here. I could fix that. I have power over there, but that looks really cool. Does the same job, and it charges it the whole time. I've got the power. It also has the parts that work in your car. I have yet to use them yet, but I'm going to experiment hooking onto the air vents in your car while you work. Anyway, so I'm experimenting with this being on my left-hand side now because that's where my power is. So we'll see. Normally it's on my right-hand side, but bear with me, I'm learning. But thanks to Cyber Vantage for sending me this sample, and we'll keep showing you their products. The Periscope. This was used by the vehicle commander and anyone on the inside to look around and acquire targets. So I'm going to use a piece of tube and I'll build a cap and start with the tube. Something about that big. Something like that. This is actually a strut from a T34 model. I hogged it out and I put a little piece of metal in there to be the camera. You put this through here, through the hole I drilled out. It does go through my hole. We got ourselves a Periscope. Landscaper's out today. Makes it fun to tape. So I'm here on the back end of the Cyber Vintage update, and right now I'm going to use part of their process. I attached the charging stand to my workbench, and the back end of their project is a vent holding clip for your car. So this was the mount I was using before. I'm going to put this in my car now so that I can film hands-free while driving without dying. I'm going to use it on my vent here and see if it works. Now the mechanism works perfectly. The thing is, the vents in my car are at weird angles, so I'm gonna work on that, and who knows, maybe you get more vertical videos, you know, like all those other YouTubers. Well, not quite. That's my upper little vent. It pivots pretty good, but not down enough. All right, I'll keep trying. They're following me into the home stretch on the M901. Once again, mail call. Fragile. We have ourselves the Tongde US M113 A2 1/16 scale plastic parts set. As Rich Johnson shared with me when dealing with this, he says Motion now has these parts available. So in this case, why do I need these parts? And I'll show you. This is what happens when you have a vehicle like the M113. There are 50,000 of them, and their variants and their parts can transpose from one version to another. This set is if you bought the one with all the stowage in the desert. It's basically the Desert Storm or Operation Iraqi Freedom version. Ooh, that's gonna help. Spare track links. My goodness, this is half the kit. Now these I don't really need, but I'll keep them. Another one of these in case it breaks. Oh, wait a minute. This, because mine broke. But then I have to paint it. Oh, never mind. Stowage. Stowage. Now, these are always good to store in my little stash in case I do more OIF vehicles, like my Abrams. Aha! Now, this would be good for future if I need more of these and these. I have plenty. This is what I really needed to finish this off. Smoke grenade launchers. And a few details. Now, most of you don't know what this is, but the 25 mil, the 20 mil, and the 40 mil ammo cans were often repurposed by vehicles to be storage. You often see Abrams tanks with these welded to the back of their bustle rack at the end of Desert Storm and all the way up until Operation Iraqi Freedom. Also, later versions of the M113 had more of the antenna mounts, so I'm going to double check my references to see how many of these I need, and I'll keep these as spares for when they inevitably break. So I need this. The smoke launchers on here are a little too tall. If you look at the reference material, they don't stand out that far. So I'm gonna have to do some surgery. But I did put in the spare track blocks. They were mounted there on this tank. And usually down here you had spare smoke grenades in a box. Track blocks on the top, smoke grenades on both sides. I'll have to look into that. Alright, so I'm gonna work on the exhaust and the second radio mast. I think it's time we talk about a serious condition. It's called acute modeling syndrome, and its symptoms are recognizable as fixation on minuscule detail, lack of acceptance of the status quo, an almost reckless pursuit of perfection that no one will ever see. So I am currently working on the M113/M901 conversion, and I don't like the smoke generators that I just got from the other version of the Tongde kit. So they stand too far off the hull, they're not correct. So I once again looked around for what I have in stock. The Andes kit is an earlier version, doesn't have the launchers, and what I'm looking for is M113 A1s, A2s in Europe and later that all had the smoke launchers on the front. I took the 18th scale 21st Century Toys off the shelf to look at again, and believe it or not, the smoke launchers aren't too off scale. They're actually a little oversized, so they would probably work. However, they're broken. I have lost the brush guards on one side. I'm looking through my stash because I have another 113 somewhere in the garage, but I have to look for it. I went back to FC Modeltrend, and they actually make a set of 3D printed launchers for Andy's kit in 16 scale. So I ordered a set. It wasn't too expensive. In the meantime, I may try to cut down the existing ones just to see if I can. So we have a little DAC history lesson here. If you went back to the early 2000s, 21st Century Toys actually made M113s in 18th scale, and they offered a static one, which you may remember. This is the base of my M901 original. Now, as you see, it's just a troop carrier from Operation Iraqi Freedom. Pretty basic, had lots of stowage on it. So they offered the static one, which ironically has a plastic hull and a metal upper hull. They also offered an RC version. This was $29 at Walmart back in the day. You just see the old FM antenna. And this one is actually pretty much factory. It actually had, this is the stowage that came with it, as you see. Some of it had already been scavenged by me to put on the other M901. And this one was the RC version. And it did have a little troop door with a little troop door little section here you could do. And you opened it up and you see the very basic board on the inside. It's nothing special. Just go fast in one direction, turn a little bit, go fast in that direction, and go backwards. So this tank I kept pretty much in reserve for the M901. As you see, it has a very simple track, and this was my spare track in case the other one broke. Never did. So it's been in a box, probably easily for 5 years. Now this one still has the launchers on it. I'm going to take the launchers off, but I noticed these launchers are a little bit big too. The base is. So that's not actually going to be too bad. I can work with that. And I'm going to transplant those onto the 901 right now. And as we were just discussing, these come off and go over here. You guys can come off for now. You notice the scale, they're pretty close. I'm also going to harvest this guy. This is actually metal. It's the exhaust for a later M113. That was just melted in place, looks like with a hot screwdriver kind of system. This will have to come off. That will work. Got it. I cut down one of the ammo cans to make the smoke grenade box. Trying to find some hinges. I got some around here somewhere. A little coat of paint. Ready to fight. Acute modeling syndrome goes by many names: rivet counting, obsessive compulsive disorder. I've seen a modeler dip an entire chrome assembly from a model car in brake cleaner to replace the chrome because it was the wrong shade of chrome. I have actually seen someone sand off the rivets on an airplane model and redo them because the model had 11 rivets and the real plane had 13. I've witnessed another modeler use over 24 plastic spoons to practice painting chrome and burnt metal so that he could get the shade exactly right on the exhaust of his F8 Crusader. Even a member of our own club has painted and repainted tanks, totally applying the paint, then stripping it all off with Windex or whatever they were doing, just because of the shade was slightly off. And I know of another modeler who builds nothing but Sherman tanks and has over 50 of them. Okay, that's me. Yeah, sorry. There are others. Jim Wexler in California, but he wrote a book about it. Therefore, he has an excuse. What do you have there, sir?
One Sherman.
Technically, it's all one, isn't it?
Yes.
Unacceptable. If we didn't have this disease, there wouldn't be people trying to cure it. And that's what the small shops like Value Gear and Phase Hanger here in Phoenix all live off of. Our desire to do something that, for the most part, is unnecessary. But in my defense, the smoke grenade launchers are right in the front of the bow of this vehicle and will be noticed.